Okay, so welcome everyone to this week's region recognition. Oh, we're off to a good start. Welcome everybody to this week's Region Power Call. Hey Anita, I'm so excited to introduce Regional Vice President Q Hall to have a chat with us today. As I said in the blurb earlier this morning, Q is like my Arbonne sister. I really feel like that. We're sister line, so we met in Fiji. We met at the airport going to Fiji, earning AIT, and we were both like, can you even believe this is happening? We were just so spun out that we had earned this trip, and we just, we both joined the business for very similar reasons and just really never thought it was something we would do and never thought we would end up on incentive trips and other things that come along with that. So, hey Amanda, hey love. So anyway, it was really cool, and since then we've been on so many international trips together, and we're just so similar. We have very similar morals and beliefs and values and sense of humour. We travelled down and have stayed with Q at Coffs Harbour. We've gone on family holidays and stuff down there to visit. My son Jake mixes her up sometimes and calls her W. Are we going to W's house?
The whole world, I love it.
But I admire her. She's a super aspiring woman. She's, an amazing mom. She runs a beautiful organisation, and, she's my go-to girl whenever I need to vent or talk or chat mum or chat business. Q is just extremely real. What you see is what you get, and she's earned, she's walked the stage at GTC. She was very quick to region. I'll let her tell you her story about all that though. So I might actually just hand it over and stop talking and let Q take it over. So take it over, Q. We can't wait to hear from you, babe.
I was like, no, keep going. You make me sound amazing. So hello everyone. I am so pumped to be on tonight. Congratulations and thank you for being on. I know it's Anzac Day. I know you guys must be mums because everyone else is probably at the club pub playing two up, right? So thanks for being on the call. Yes, you guys are so freaking blessed to have Danny as your upline. She is absolutely one of my closest Arbonne soul sisters, and outside of Arbonne as well. And that is part of why I love what we do, is because we meet the most incredible people along the way. We're going to be friends for life, and even our kids and our families are friends for life. So how cool is that? So I guess I'll tell you obviously how I came to be in Arbonne, and then how my journey has been up until this point. So I started Arbonne on November 28, 2013, that fateful day that I decided to jump in. So it's been nearly 4.5 years. Now, it was about a month prior to that I got a random message on Facebook from my old school friend who's Executive Regional Vice President Rebecca Blaney. You would have seen her in some of the pages as well. And she just sent me, we hadn't really spoken much since school, but she sent me a message on Facebook and about this incredible business opportunity and would I take a look. Now, at the time, I was working as a senior journalist and editor in regional media. I had 2 kids under 3, and my husband was on the other side of the country mining. So I had a bit on. And also, being a journalist, automatic skeptic. So we're taught to be skeptics. So what I promptly did was ignore her message. Have you had anyone done that to you? Oh, karma bites me in the bum every day of my business for doing that. So many people that ignore me. But I just had a preconceived idea about what it was. I thought, I have no time for that. There is no way I'm ever going to do anything like that. But Beck was such a lovely person at school, and I really had respect for her. So just even though I ignored her to start with, it was in the back of my mind that, I need to get back to Beck. I need to get back to Beck. And it wasn't until a few weeks later that I started seeing on social media that she was talking about earning a great income from home. Now, while I said, I was doing all of those other things, and it looked like everything was great on the outside, and we were doing pretty well financially, or doing okay financially, my kids were crying every night because my husband wasn't home. I was stressed out. I was feeling really undervalued at work. I felt like I was putting in so much work and not really getting the recognition that I deserved, or the pay that I deserved. And I really wanted my family back together, but I just didn't know how to make that happen. So when I saw Beck started talking about making income from home, I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to be really sneaky and just do my own research. So what I went and did was research the company, the product, and the business model, the industry. And what I really quickly realized was this could be the way that I could make a little bit of extra cash to get Mike to be able to come and work back at home with us, so I could make up that shortfall. And that's really all I wanted to do. So I sent Beck a message back and said, all right, I'll have a listen. What have you got to say now that I've done my research? And I got a call from our executive national vice president, Cassandra House. And she just breathed this huge, massive vision into me and said, you know, the girls are, you know, we can earn 5 figures a month, you can retire your husband. And at the time I was thinking, holy smokes, that sounds amazing. But really all I want is a couple of thousand a month, because then that means he could just be home. But nonetheless, it was that vision that really made me jump over the line, right? So if she had said to me, oh, you could make $300 or $400 a month, I would have been like, I don't think it's going to be worth my time. But because she spoke that huge vision to me, I was like, okay, I can absolutely give this my all. So that was obviously November 2013, I decided to jump on board. And I absolutely was the definition of ignorance on fire. I barely used any skincare ever. Whatever was on special at Coles was what I would buy. I used some makeup for work, but I had no knowledge on ingredients or what was good for me or what wasn't. So literally, I felt like the day after I started my business, I was like, okay. And I remember saying to Michael, because I got so overwhelmed with what I'd actually just committed to do, I said to my husband, Michael, I said, okay, I'm actually not going to talk to anyone about the business. I'm just going to sell heaps and heaps of product. And that's how I'm going to make money. Didn't understand the business properly, right? And I was actually so funny because he's like, yeah, cool, whatever. He's just like, great, go you, woo. He had no idea what I was doing either, but he supported me, which was lovely. And it was luckily that at my launch, when Christy Payer and Beck came down to do my launch, that I had such an incredible supportive network that they were all so excited. They all bought product, and then I had 2 consultants sign at my launch. So I was like, oh, okay, that was easy. I didn't really have to talk to anyone about it. And that was just because we were all so excited about, you know, we had no idea what we were talking about. We were so excited about it, right? So they were like, oh, well, I don't want to miss out. And it was really that momentum that got us going. So I actually finished district in the first month, which was December, because I joined on the 28th of November only. So technically it took me 2 months and like a month and 2 days. When I found out that first month counted as a whole month, like the 2 days, I was like, hey, hang on a minute. But it goes to show, right? Anything can happen. So we finished district at the end of December, and then it just snowballed from there. I didn't even think about, I had no time for the smack talk in your head. You know, when you start to doubt yourself, or should I ask that person, shouldn't I? I was just so on fire about what I wanted to create and what I could help people create. Was that I was asking anyone and everyone and speaking to dropping totes off like my hair was on fire, because obviously I had the 2 kids and Mike was away a lot of the time. So a lot of my business was built on totes to start with. And so in January, we actually went into area qual, and then we finished in February. So the 1st of March, we were in area. So it was 3 months, 1 month to district, 3 months to area. And then for the next 4 or 5 months, we grew at a steady pace, and it really was just about completely doing the do. Like, we were in so much activity and we were so passionate about sharing both the product and the business that in all of our minds and my team's mind, that was just what was going to happen. We had no time for doubt. We had no time for any of that because we were in so much income producing activity. And so over the next 3 or 4 months, we were kind of between 10 and 18,000 each month as we slowly grew. And then AAC happened, my first ever AAC, and that was in the August of that year, so August 2014. And that literally blew my mind. I just sat there going, I thought I knew what was going on in this business. I thought I knew what we had, but going to that event, and that's number one point, is do whatever you can to get to those big Arbonne events, because they absolutely change the game, and they just show you that bigger vision, and you see people outside of the people that you know doing all these amazing things, and it just really builds that belief. So we went to AAC and we finished AAC month on 27,000 as an area, and the next month we went into region qual at 47,000. So we grew by 20,000 in 1 month, just because we were so lit up from AAC and so lit up from that incredible momentum and inspiration and training that you get from those events. So we went into region qual on in September, and then on 47,000, and then in October we finished region on 62,000. So we went 27, 40, 46, 62, and then in the December of that year, November, the next month after that, we did 85,000. So it was just literally ignorance on fire, and we was just so fired up and momentum. And really, I know if you've seen a lot of the coaching lately is all about sponsoring, and at that time we were just so on fire with bringing new preferred clients and new consultants into the business, and that really is the lifeblood of our businesses, because we're about changing lives. And yes, we change lives with product 100%. You need an incredible client base, but when you're sponsoring, that's when the magic happens, and that's when the really big numbers start to roll in, and that's when you can change the most lives, make the most impact for people, is when you're actually creating that for them in their own lives. So I actually have had this conversation with Danny before. That was we actually finished region in 11 months. And at the time, like that year, our team, our whole entire executive nation was on fire. We put 16 cars on the road in 1 year. Like, it was insane. And to us at that time, it was normal. Hey, Dan, like, we were like, oh, yeah, there's another region. Yeah, there'll be another region next month. There's another one. Like, it was just totally normal. So we actually had and I think, it's so important what goes on in between here, because that actually will dictate what goes on your outside world. And for me, in my mind, that was done. There was no doubt in my mind that was 100% going to happen, and that it was achievable, because I was watching people in front of me do it over and over again. And importantly, my sponsors, right? So my sponsors, Christy Payer went to National Vice President that year. Rebecca, Beck's still an executive regional vice president, my upline, and we all promoted. So it was just a given. I know it sounds insane, but now I look back, I think, how did that even happen? At the time, it was normal, and when we won the awards and we're walking the stage in Vegas and got all the trips, and I was just like, how incredible is this business? Like, this is just insane. But now I look back, I really didn't appreciate how insane that was, like how incredible that growth was. And what it's really was really, what's the word I'm trying to look for here? So that massive, strong growth in the first year of our business, so 11 months to region, and really strong bonusing heading towards nation. If you had have asked me at that point then, I was going to be a nation by the next GTC. So the next April, we were going to be a nation, no doubt in my mind. Of course, we're going to walking in, look at us, we're on fire. And then life happened. I'm just, Danny knows, I can't be anything but real with you guys, because I feel like that's such an important thing in our business, is to be authentic and be yourself. And I've set my nation date since then about at least twice a year. So at least 6, 7, 8 times since between now and then, right? And always it hasn't quite come off, or something's happened, or I've lost people from the team, or whatever. And I think now the most important part of my journey for the last 3 years since we've been a region, and now as we move to nation, we are going to get there. And this is the year. There is so much you need to learn in this business about yourself, right? So you hear some people take 4 years to even get to district in the business, right? And then you hear people like what's her, Fishenden, but she's married now. Claire Fishenden came in and went to RVP in 3 months. 3 months. So, you know, we hear all of these stories, and I think what the crux to all of it is some people come in at different levels, right? You come in at different seasons of your life. You come in at different seasons of your confidence, of your own limiting beliefs, all of that stuff. And really what this business does is it really shines our strengths out 100%. But it also puts a magnifying glass on any of your weaknesses. And that's the hard part of the business, okay? And most people will get to the part where they have to start looking through that magnifying glass at their weaknesses, and it gets way too hard, and they just walk away. And that is the most horrible thing, like the most sad thing I see in the business is people walking away when times get tough, because it's tough, when really all you need to do is stick it out and learn the lesson, and you're going to move to the next lesson in your business in the next stage and the next season. So it doesn't matter how amazing you are, doesn't matter how new you are, it doesn't matter if you've been in for 10 years, doesn't matter if you've been in for 10 days, but this business is about learning about yourself and always coming from a place of service. And when you master that is when you are ready to go to the top of the company. So clearly I have had over the last 3 years plenty of opportunity to be able to learn about myself. And what I know for sure is that if you stay in this business, you will succeed. And if you are willing to do the work, you will succeed. They're the two things I know for sure in this business, right? So that's kind of my journey up until now. I have 5 points here. I have flown by the seat of my pants tonight because I was like, you know, you all know what to do. We hear the same things over and over. Same people, different pants, right? Like, we have to, it really comes down to work on yourself and do the activity. They're the two things you need to do in this business to be successful. But I do have a few points that have really been glaringly obvious for me in my Arbonne journey, and things that I know are non-negotiables that you have to be doing to be able to move to the next level and to help other people do the same thing. But you're not going to hear anything new from me that you haven't heard from any VP or any leader in Arbonne.
Hey, Q. I just want to tell you, honey, that Manda and Mads are really, really new, so they haven't heard much.
Oh, good. Fabo, you're going to hear some great stuff tonight from me then.
Just a heads up. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry, a bit heavy for the newbies. All right.
No, it's great. I love the realism. The realism is awesome, but the repetition stuff, like, don't worry. And even Leanne and Anita, they'll love it as well. So and
I just think too, we learn so many things, and you can read all the books in the world and you can hear the same thing over and over again. But unless you're moving from that place of knowledge to doing, it doesn't matter. Knowledge is not power. It's not. It's the actually implementing that knowledge is the power. You can be the most well-read, gone to so many personal development courses, done all of the business training you like, but if you don't implement one thing, what does it matter? It means nothing. So the first tip I have for everyone is to be coachable. And sometimes it's the hardest thing in this business. You know, we are in business for ourselves, but we are not by ourselves. And sometimes, especially if we come in with a business background, we think we know how to do things better. Or we think we know, oh, that doesn't suit me, I'm going to do it this way. That's fine, you can give it a go, but I can guarantee the fastest way to succeed is to learn from the people before you. They've done what you want to do and fallen flat on their face millions of times doing it. The fastest way to actually skip all of those steps is to listen to what they say. Danny, I know, is a master at everything in this business. She has earned every single award you can earn in this business. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. So you guys are in good hands. All you need to do is reach out and make sure that you're saying, hey, okay, what do I need to do now? And if you're kind of feeling stuck or you're actually feeling overwhelmed, the best thing for you to be able to do is to reach out to someone, anyone, Danny, or your direct sponsor, and say, do you know what? I can't see where I'm stuck. Can you help? I want some honest feedback from you on what I can work on to be better in my business. Where do I need to work on? Because, you know, we're in it and we have all our own limiting beliefs that we have to deal with every single day. And sometimes we're really hard on ourselves, and sometimes there's just blind spots that we can't see. So that's what the coach and mentors are here, and your uplines and your sister lines are here for in Arbonne, is to show you those blind spots and help you through them. So make sure that you really reach out and utilize that. The second one is to attach Arbonne to your values. So what are your core values? What really means the most to you? Like MVP Kelly Budnick does the best training on this to work out your core values. But then figure out what those core values are and find out how Arbonne fits in those. Because if you don't have that strong reason for doing it, like we pretty much all start for some sort of cash, right? Like most of us start to make an income, but that's only going to last so long, because money, as we know, is not everything. So even when you're making the big bucks, if you're not actually have your heart and soul in this business, why you want to do it, you're still going to be looking for something more. You're still going to be chasing that next, oh, maybe this company's better, or oh, maybe I should do this now. Like you really need to have that core value attached to your business and why you're doing it, because that's also going to drive you when you feel like not doing anything, right? The third is to always, 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 please come from a place of service and love. Now, the reason that our industry previously has had a bit of a like irky vibe with some people is because not always have people in our business run themselves with integrity. Now, Arbonne is hands down 100%, no doubt in my mind, the best, most integral, incredible, forward-thinking, amazing company to be a part of, and we are representations of that. So make sure when you are reaching out to people, think about what your motivation behind that is. Yes, it's okay to want to get success for yourself. I'm not saying that, 100%. That's why we drive forward in business. But when you're reaching out to someone, is the first thing you say, oh, she'd be so good. Like, she'd be so good. I know she'd make heaps of sales, or she knows so many people. Like, that's because you're thinking about what it could do for your organization. Is that the driver? Or are you thinking, oh, do you know what? I know she's so stressed out at work. She's got 3 kids. She never gets out. I think she'd love to be a part of our community. And imagine if she could make enough money outside of that to then leave that stressful job. Like, really have to think about the place that you're coming from and whether you're actually thinking about that other person and whether it's going to be fit for them. Remember, this business won't be for everyone. It just won't. But when you're about in the educating business, so you really are, when you talk to someone, it's not like, this is going to be amazing for you. You need to do this because you want this, You're actually having a conversation with them to find out whether it is a fit for them or not, and whether it's genuinely going to be something that they can work over time to create an incredible life for themselves, whether they do want to travel, whether they do want the money, whether they do want some time away from the kids. So yeah, just make sure that you're always coming from that service and place of love. So what can you do for them rather than, oh yes, that would be so great for my organization, because that woohoo amazingness for your organization will come when you're serving people. Okay. Number 4 is don't ever be complacent. This has been one of my most pertinent lessons over the last 3 years is, you know what, it doesn't matter how incredible or amazing or bad or not so great your business seems to be going at any given time. Consistency and always running your own business is the key. So it's it's a bit of a fast to think, oh, look at those VPs, look at those MVPs, they've made it. Like, oh my goodness. No, do you know what? The best people in this business are always still personally sponsoring. They're always still personally promoting out districts and helping more and more people, because A, it's about more than just the money, and B, they're preparing for impact. And that's why we do this business as well, right? To have that certain other stream of income around what we're doing, to have that safety net. So it's really important to always keep on your game and always be consistent in your business, and making sure that you're serving as many people as possible on a daily basis, talking to someone about your business. Because if you do that, then there is no way over time that you can't be successful. And number 5, and my favorite all-time, hands down, best, sorry, can you hear my husband in the background? Hopefully not. Oh, he loves doing that every time I'm on Zoom. Luckily, he didn't walk past there because he's in his underwear. Danny, you know what he's like. So my all-time, hands down, beats every other type of advice ever in the world is just be yourself, please. I thought you had a dog. That's so funny. No, yeah, that was my husband belching. He's gonna love that. That is so funny. Oh my goodness. Keeping it real in Coffs Harbour, people. Oh my goodness. Is to be you, okay? You have, clearly, but you have to be you. If you try and be anyone else, there's two things that are going to happen. One, you're going to sound really weird and people are not going to want to talk to you. Number two, you're going to burn out because it's freaking exhausting trying to be something that you're not, okay? That doesn't mean you don't have to work on yourself and be the best version of you. And yes, if you're not very good at business, then obviously you're going to have to work on that and become a business person. But that doesn't mean you have to be an Arbonne robot and talk and do and things like other people. You don't, okay? So we have scripts. I love them. And yes, I coach them out to my team 100%, but they're a guide, not a copy-paste message. You have to make those things sound like you because no one's going to return your calls or your emails or your voicemails if you literally are reading off a script. They're going to be like, did something happen to you? Are you okay? Why are you speaking like a robot? So make sure that you are always yourself because you are freaking amazing. You are, each and every single one of you. Every one of us is, and every single person can bring some of us something new to the table that's amazing. So I love Stuart Armfield said, he always tells his story about he, skyrocketed through Arbonne after like, what was it, 18 months, and his main goal after 18 months was to get one preferred client. And now he's like the top income earner number 4 income earner in the UK. But he always says he sat in the front row and felt so out of place at one of the Arbonne events, like, oh, I'm not like any of those people, I can't do this. And Sarah Dunning said to him, well, then you have to do it because you have to be the person that other people will relate to. So if there is so many incredible VPs and VPs that have done what we want to do with all different backgrounds from all different things, and there's so many people you can relate to, but if there's no one, then guess what? That means you have to, because you have to be that person for everyone else. There's no type of person that's successful in this business. The only type of person that's successful in this business is someone who does the two things, work on yourself and do the activity. They're the two things we have to do. So always be yourself. Don't like saying the word hate, despise the word fake it till you make it. Please don't. Please don't. But faith it until you make it. So believe in yourself and believe that you can do it because you can, and keep on keeping on. That's pretty much it for me tonight.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Q. Just one more thing from you, honey. Do you have any tips for us in the last 5 days of the month?
Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Last 5 days of this month in particular, you really need to utilize those new products, friends. Like, it is the best way to reach out to people, A, that haven't got back to your messages, B, that said, oh, I'd love to buy something but don't quite have the money. Like the new RE9 prep work is that lower price point and bloody amazing. So it's a great way to reach out to people who have necessarily loved the RE9 but haven't purchased it. Great way to follow up with them. Prospects, no better time to start now. I've been contacting all of my prospects saying, do you know what, we've just had all these new products released, especially the body cleanse and the mind health are going to absolutely blow up nutrition over the next few months. So make sure that you want to be on this journey with me, is what I'm saying to people. Mother's Day is in 2 weeks. So make sure that you're contacting, well, first of all, buying yourselves some Mother's Day presents. But then also like every woman or mother in your family should be getting Arbonne, but also contacting your brothers, your cousins, uncles, friends' husbands, and saying, do you know what, I know what your spouse would love. Can I please make up a package for you? You give me a budget and I'll make it up. We're still 2 weeks out, so there's plenty of time for that. Make sure that you follow up follow up, follow up. Go back through any presentation that you've done. Even if they didn't buy anything, I'd give them a ring and be like, hey, I know you didn't purchase anything at that presentation, but we've just had these awesome new products released and I thought of you because, be authentic. Why did you think of them? Not, I thought of you because it's the end of the month and I need some sales. Don't say that. be like, I thought of you because I know you love the RE9, but you didn't quite have the money at that time. But this is a great option, a bit lower price point, like, you know. Or I know you were waiting for that paycheck to come in, or I don't know, you know, whatever. Or I know it's Mother's Day, so I thought you might want to treat yourself, you know. Make sure you follow it up. Make sure you've checked your PC renewals and rewards always. Like that should be the start of every month. And that's about it. It's not over till the fat lady sings at the end of the month. So keep going. You got this. Trust me. There's been incredible like amounts of QV coming in the last day of the month. One of the girls in my team actually did like 8,000 on the last day of the month to finish area. Isn't that insane? So it really is just about getting on the phones, getting out of your comfort zone. It's scary, but it's worth it.
And, you know, wouldn't you agree that you think, I remember when I went district and then Stacey rang me and goes, how do you feel about going area? And I could have been physically sick. I was like, 10,000? 10,000? How am I going to do 10,000? I had to like drag to finish district. How am I going to do 10? And now as a region, you realize how it's not that it's easy, but it is simple to do 10.
Yeah.
When you knuckle it down and you realize how fast you can do it, and it's all how you think. Well, you're thinking, it won't happen. But when you knuckle it down, and I love how at what's her name? Her last name's Preti. She spoke with Sarah Law about body cleanse, and she's like, magic, it's numbers. You know how she said that?
Yeah.
So true. It's not magic, it's maths. Sorry. It's not magic, it's maths. And it's so true when you break it down into daily chunks and work out what your goal is, like what you wanted to finish on this month. What does that look like each day? You know, and then what does that look like in activity? And you go, oh, it's actually, that's super doable. And because it so is. And it's so exciting.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's all relative to, you know, to where you are in the business. You're so right. Like you think, oh my gosh, some people are like, oh my gosh, how am I even going to do 1,000? But then you do the 1,000 and then you're like, oh, okay, I did that. But like you said, if you break it down, like 3 ASVPs is almost 1,000, you know? Mm-hmm. So if you're getting if you get 3 people on the next 30 days between now and the end of the month, that's an extra 1,000 QV. Like, you reckon you could do that in the next 5 days? Like, of course you could. Absolutely. Get on the phones. And it is about breaking it down. Yeah, and I think we get so caught up in the actual numbers, though, that we forget to just get out and get in activity. Like, and I think that's really the key. You know, when we're in massive momentum, you're just out in activity and you know that the QV will flow in from the activity. You might do 5 presentations, one might be 50 QV and one might be 1,500 QV. But when you're out in activity, you're not stressed because you know it's coming in from which way? One way or another, it's going to come in. So yeah, it's just about chunking it down exactly right, having that belief and just getting into massive action.
Yeah, love it. Awesome call. Thanks so much for plugging in tonight, guys, on a public holiday and everything. And we're so grateful to have you on, Q. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing your story and your pearls of wisdom, sharing some of your hindsight.
You're so welcome. I feel so honoured to be here. I hope you guys got something out of it.
We did. I got heaps. I'm taking notes on you.
Oh, Danny's taking notes. Oh, look out. Danny is the personal development master, guys, by the way. Whatever she says to read it, because she knows her stuff.
Thank you, honey. I feel like that about you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for jumping on. And I'm so proud of all you guys for jumping on tonight. And if you're watching the recording, it's just, this is where the success starts, is getting in the know. And, you know, your workout later, something you heard from this call might really serve you in a couple of weeks' time. And then people will be like, oh, geez, Anita was lucky. She went to a presentation and sponsored someone. She was lucky to have someone there who wanted to join. It's like, no, you can take that luck and shove it, because she jumped on every single call on Wednesday nights and learnt the lingo. She learnt how to do it, and that's why she's sponsoring. So, yeah.
Never ever use the word luck in this business. There's no such thing as luck.
No, never.
That quote, and it's like, I believe in luck. The harder I worked, the luckier I got.
Yeah. So true. So true. Amen. Oh, all right then, ladies. I'll let you go. Have the best. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.